It began with a noise. Not the normal kind either. Not the grinding hum of the upstairs neighbor's treadmill of existential denial, or the early morning death rattle of the radiator pretending to still be functional. No, this sound was different, like someone singing underwater, or maybe boiling a cello. Theo Wallace blinked awake, face pressed into the pizza box he vaguely recalled promising to clean up the night before. It was upside down, and so were a few mushrooms, one of which now clung lovingly to his cheek. He groaned, wiped his face on the couch throw that hadn't been washed since the Obama administration, and sat up. That's when he saw her. She was sitting on his couch, the lumpy brown relic of Craigslist past. Calmly, legs crossed, hands in her lap, looking at him like she'd been waiting for hours, or possibly centuries. Armor gleamed faintly along her shoulders, silver plates etched with symbols that looked suspiciously like the doodles Theo used to draw on the margins of his 8th grade math homework. Her hair was black, glossy like obsidian, and fell in sharp lines around her face. Her skin was pale, not in the needs more sun way, but like it was carved from moonlight, and her ears, long, elegant, arched up past her head like something out of a fantasy game. Theo blinked again, looked at the pizza box, back at her. "You're not a hallucination, are you?" he croaked. "No," she said, voice crisp and accented with something unplaceable, like English filtered through a centuries-old cathedral. "Though hallucinations would not sit on your furniture. They tend to hover." He screamed. Just once, brief and undignified. Then he flung a couch cushion at her with all the might of a man who'd failed gym 3 times. She caught it mid-air without blinking. "My name is Arya," she said, "and you're not in danger." "Probably." "Oh, good," he said, scooting back into the corner of the couch, like it would somehow eat him and spare him whatever was happening. "So to summarize, I fell asleep during a rerun of Galactic Bounty Chef, and now there's an elf ninja from outer space on my couch, and I'm probably not in danger." "Yes, I feel so reassured." Arya tilted her head slightly. "Sarcasm? That's the one with the inverse emotional intention." "That's the one," Theo muttered, heartbeat trying to drum its way out through his ribs. "Okay, look, you can't just break into someone's apartment in the middle of the night wearing cosplay and start spouting sci-fi nonsense. Are you with a cult? Is this about the parking ticket? Did Kyle put you up to this?" Her expression didn't change. "You are Theo Wallace. Earthborn, age 33 Earth rotations, male, primary occupation, technical support for sub-civilian digital systems, current residence, Unit 4B, Edgerton Complex, Cleveland District, Northern Americas. I have traveled 512,000 light years to find you." Theo gawked at her. "First of all, that's a disturbing amount of detail. Second, Cleveland? You came halfway across the galaxy to come here?" "I would not have chosen Cleveland, but it is where the signal led." "The signal?" he repeated, suddenly aware of how drafty the room felt. "What signal?" She extended one hand, palm up. A soft glow flickered there, rising like mist. It resolved into a shifting pattern, like DNA, but pulsing, alive, 3-dimensional. "Your genetic sequence, hidden in Earth's biosphere. You are the key." "Oh, that's cute," Theo said. "You've mistaken me for someone important. Happens all the time. I have one of those generic, chosen one faces." "No mistake," Arya replied. "You carry the sequence embedded in Ansari prophecy, the code to reverse the collapse." "The collapse of what?" "Reality." He blinked at her. "That's a bit broad, don't you think?" She stood in a single smooth motion, the light from her armor casting strange shadows on his laminate floor. Reality, time, cognition, entropy. The collapse spreads through hyperspace channels, warping the fabric of physics itself. Our worlds decay, our minds fracture. The cure was encoded long ago and flung outward, to wait until the correct host could evolve. "And I'm... what, the cure?" "Yes." "You're serious?" "I do not jest." Theo raised one finger. "Well, I do. Frequently, because this is insane." He stood shakily, wrapping the throw blanket around his shoulders like a defeated wizard. "So what? You came all this way, busted into my apartment, and now what? You want me to come back with you to fix space? in essence. I have to go to work on Monday. You will not. Wow, already making decisions for me. Space girlfriend's kind of pushy. I am not your... She stopped. What is a space girlfriend? It's a concept. Don't worry about it. He rubbed his temples. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, I go along with this. You've got the armor, the glowy tech, the glowing eyes. But what makes you sure I'm the one you're looking for? Couldn't you have, I don't know, double-checked before abducting a guy who failed chemistry? Arya stepped forward. I did check. Observe. She reached into a small case at her side and withdrew a small metallic disc, no bigger than a coin. She pressed it to Theo's chest. He flinched, but it sank into his skin like water. Oh no, nope, nope, nope. What did you do? A wave of color burst from his chest, shimmering through the room like a heat wave. Symbols danced in the air, weaving around Arya's outstretched fingers. Her expression softened. There, she said quietly. Your code sings. Great, he groaned. I've always wanted to be a singing genetic anomaly. She tilted her head again. There is humor in your discomfort. Welcome to Earth. That's how we cope. He sighed, sitting back down heavily. Okay, fine. Let's pretend this is real. Let's pretend I'm the magic man you've been looking for. What now? We prepare, Arya said, her voice low. The Zaks will come. They track all anomalies. If they reach you before we escape Earth, let me guess. Reality collapses. She nodded once. Theo exhaled and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Well, he said, I hope they like leftover pizza and existential dread, because that's all I've got to offer. Arya blinked, then carefully sat beside him. Is this dread edible? Not unless you microwave it first. She considered that. Then I will try it. He glanced at her. You're weird, you know that? She offered the smallest of smiles. And you are the key to saving all existence. I believe we are both uncomfortable truths. The deli guy didn't even blink when the woman in armor ordered a turkey sandwich with jalapenos, triple mustard, and the one with green tentacle sauce. Theo was beginning to suspect no one in Cleveland blinked anymore. He hovered beside Arya, hunched inside his hoodie like it might grant invisibility, whispering furiously. You can't just say things like tentacle sauce in public. People are going to notice. They have not noticed, she said calmly, accepting the sandwich like she'd done it 100 times. I believe your species practices selective denial as a survival instinct. You say that like it's a compliment. It is. Denial is a highly underrated psychological shield. They found a bench just outside the sandwich shop, next to a bus stop with a half-broken digital screen advertising psychic pet grooming. Theo kept glancing around, waiting for black vans or hazmat teams. Nothing happened. All right, he muttered, start talking. You said I'm the key and that there's some kind of virus collapsing reality. You can't just drop that and then ask me to pick between sourdough or multigrain. Arya peeled open her sandwich, eyed the green sauce like it might detonate, and then took a bite. It's called the hollowing, a psychic entropy field born from a failed immortality experiment. Our civilization sought to bind consciousness into stabilized quantum matrices. The experiment fractured, thought became infection, identity became vapor, time bends. Theo blinked. You're saying your people created space rabies, and now the universe is catching it? More or less. He leaned forward, elbows on knees. Okay, so why me? Why Earth? We can't even agree on how to make coffee without starting a civil war. You're not chosen by merit, she said, a touch too bluntly for his ego's comfort. You're chosen by genetics. Your code contains a stabilizing echo, a pattern once embedded in the early builders of the Ixari lattice. We don't understand how it passed into Earth's biosphere, but your body is a resonance chamber. The hollowing can't consume you. Theo exhaled slowly. Great. I'm a walking antivirus software. Fantastic. Precisely. He rubbed his eyes. Is there a manual? A pamphlet? Maybe a support group? Arya reached into her satchel and pulled out a small obsidian-colored sphere. It unfolded in midair with a hum, forming a floating projection of a rotating galaxy. Data flared around it. Coordinates, languages, streams of information he couldn't begin to parse. This is the map. Our next destination is the interface vault, hidden within your planet's crust. Theo looked at the sphere. Wait, you're saying there's a vault inside the Earth? Yes. Do we knock? Is there a password? Your presence is the password. He looked back at the sandwich shop. Okay, cool. So after lunch, we're just going to casually burrow into the planet and unlock some kind of ancient space USB drive? Yes. He paused. You don't believe in easing into things, do you? No. The sphere retracted. Arya adjusted something on her wrist, a device embedded in her armor. We need transport, something discreet. Your Earth vehicle will suffice. Theo blinked. My Earth vehicle is a 2003 Corolla with one working speaker and a glove box full of expired mints. Perfect. It was not by any definition perfect. But by evening, they were on the road. Arya sat in the passenger seat like she'd been trained in how not to sit in chairs, spine perfectly straight, head tilted at a mathematically precise angle. Every time they hit a pothole, she clutched the armrest like she was reevaluating her entire mission. You've never been in a car before? Theo asked. We had wheeled transport once, 2 millennia ago. It was banned after the Great Curb disaster. That sounds like a story I don't want to hear while driving. They drove in silence for a while. The GPS guided them toward a remote forest preserve, miles from the city, where Arya insisted the crystal vault lay dormant. Along the way, she started asking questions. Why do your highways have so many lanes and no discernible order? We believe in freedom, even when it comes to ignoring speed limits. What is premium unleaded? Liquid guilt and crushed dreams. What is the function of the fuzzy dice? They stabilize the quantum mood of the vehicle. She stared at the dice hanging from the mirror. Your culture is nonsense. Theo grinned. I know. As night fell, they reached the forest edge. Arya led the way, moving with preternatural grace despite the twigs and uneven ground. Theo tripped over a root and nearly impaled himself on a warning sign. They came to a clearing, overgrown with vines and weeds. Arya activated her wrist device, and a pulse of blue light spread out over the ground. The soil shimmered. A circle of stone slowly uncoiled like a flower blooming backward. Beneath the surface lay a staircase, spiraling into blackness. Theo looked at it, then at her, then back at it. If I die in there, please delete my browser history. I already did, she said. He paused. Wait, what? They descended. The air grew colder. Lights flickered on as they passed. Organic filaments strung along the walls, pulsing with soft illumination. The vault at the bottom was circular, lined with columns that curved up into a domed ceiling covered in alien script. In the center, a pedestal. Arya gestured. Place your hand there. He hesitated. Does it explode? Morph me into a lizard? Unlock ancient space taxes? No. He placed his hand. The room came alive. Symbols spun around him. Music that wasn't music filled the air, a resonance that trembled through his bones. He saw flashes, memories not his own. Izari scientists working beside humans in a past that never was. A planet that shimmered like crystal. A queen crying over a shattered mirror. And then it was gone. He stumbled back. That was a lot. Arya helped him steady. The first layer of the key has awakened. The next vault is off-world. Define off-world. She smiled faintly. Your moon. There is a ship hidden beneath it. Theo blinked. Okay, so pizza, sandwiches, and now moon vaults. It's been a weird day. She nodded. Prepare for weirder. Should I pack snacks? Yes, and a toothbrush. Hygiene is universal. Theo sighed. Of course it is. The moon was a lot less romantic when you were strapped inside a stolen Ixari scout vessel, shaped like an aggressively aerodynamic beetle, and piloted by a woman who, until 2 days ago, thought nachos were a form of religious offering. Theo sat in the co-pilot's seat, though co-pilot was a generous title for someone whose primary contribution was not throwing up during artificial gravity re-entry simulations. Arya operated the ship with precise movements, fingers gliding over a control surface that responded like liquid metal. Occasionally it made noises like a whale experiencing déjà vu. So, Theo said, watching Earth shrink in the rear display. This ship, you said it was hidden under the moon? No, Arya said. The next ship is hidden under the moon. This one was cloaked inside a defunct Ixari observation pod located in Earth orbit. Theo frowned. So this is basically a cosmic used car. I do not understand that metaphor, but I assume it's offensive. She tapped something on the console, and the view ahead changed to a grayscale scan of the moon's surface. There. Vallis Crater. The vault is beneath the regolith shelf. Theo squinted. Looks like a lot of gray nothing. Beneath the gray nothing is a hatch keyed to your genome. Wow. First my genome opens cosmic locks, now moon bunkers. Any chance it also gets me better health insurance? Unlikely, she said, but it may unlock an ancient defense protocol against interdimensional rot. That's almost as good. He paused. Actually, it's way cooler. As they descended, the ship activated a series of cloaking pulses. Outside, the moon looked peaceful, still, dusted in the ancient hush of forgotten time. Inside, Theo was chewing the last of a peanut butter granola bar and trying not to let his knees shake. I keep thinking someone's going to call us out for trespassing, he muttered. Like, a moon security guard is going to pop up with a clipboard and ask for permits. If that happens, Arya said, you should do most of the talking. I tend to escalate quickly. Theo opened his mouth, then closed it. That felt like something best not followed up on. The ship landed without sound, kicking up a slow-motion plume of dust. They exited via a ramp that unfolded with a hiss. Arya handed Theo a compact device shaped like a silver egg. What's this? He asked, turning it over. Atmospheric regulator. It creates a localized, breathable field around your head. Don't drop it. Comforting. They walked across the moonscape toward a subtle depression in the surface. Arya activated her wristband again, and a pattern of glowing glyphs shimmered across the regolith. A seam appeared, then a narrow platform rose from below like a forgotten elevator summoned from dreams. Still think this could all be a coma hallucination, Theo said. If it were, she replied, your subconscious would have better fashion sense than this. She gestured at his t-shirt, which read, I paused my game for this. They descended. The vault beneath the moon was colder, stranger. Unlike the Earth vault, which had a carved, ancient quality, this one was seamless. Walls like obsidian mirrors, flickering with movement that wasn't reflections. As they entered the central chamber, the room lit with slow, deliberate pulses. Arya pointed. There! A second pedestal. But this one hovered, unsupported, above a pit of swirling light. Theo took a breath. What happens if I fall in? You will experience all of time in reverse until you reach pre-molecular structure. Then you'll be stuck. Okay, so don't fall in. He reached out and placed his hand on the pedestal. The reaction was immediate. Lines of light wrapped around his arm, his veins glowing in response. Symbols burst upward, forming a spiral of language, history, sound. This time he heard voices. His voice. Others. Laughing, arguing, screaming. 1,000 lives, not his own. Then silence. He staggered back. Arya caught him. You've activated the second layer, she said. The core is awakening. Theo looked around, dazed. I think I remembered a life as a six-eyed opera singer. And I was good. She smiled faintly. Residual echo. The Yagsari key pattern contains mnemonic overlaps. Your mind is stabilizing. Great. Next time, warn me if I'm about to star in a psychic musical. The vault trembled. Arya's expression changed instantly. She moved to the console embedded in her gauntlet. Number they found us. Theo's stomach turned. Who's they? The Zaksh, the Hollowings agents. They've been tracking activation points. Theo blinked. Why do bad guys always have names that sound like sneeze reactions? Focus, she snapped. They're breaching the vault perimeter. Alarms, if they could be called that, began to pulse through the chamber, low and rhythmic, like a heartbeat trying to forget how to beat. The mirror walls began to ripple. Theo caught sight of something on the edge of the vault, black shapes twisting into view like smoke-forming skeletons. Those don't look like welcome committee types. They aren't, Arya said, yanking him toward the exit. The sprint to the elevator was short but surreal. Time bent strangely near the vault's entrance. Theo's steps echoed ahead of him, and at one point, his own shadow ran past him, screaming something about existential continuity. They reached the ramp just as the first of the Zacks reached the vault. The creature had no clear shape, eyes, yes, too many, and mouths all speaking at once in a chorus of languages, including English, which made it worse. "We found you, Anchor. Collapse is not denied. Collapse is promised." "Really wish it hadn't learned how to rhyme," Theo muttered. Arya threw a sphere behind them. The ship's ramp hissed open, and they leapt aboard. The moment they were sealed inside, she hit the thrusters. The ship shot upward, faster than light should have allowed, and Theo found himself weightless, bracing against the console as the stars stretched thin and bent. He exhaled slowly. "Okay, so that was terrifying." Arya didn't answer at first. She was scanning the vault data. After a moment, she said, "The vault recognized you more quickly this time. Your sequence is synchronizing faster." "Yay me," Theo said weakly. "So what happens at the third vault? Is it inside a volcano? Or the sun? Or a black hole guarded by space dragons?" "It's in a shopping mall in Nebraska." He blinked. "Wait, really?" "Yes." There was a pause. Theo sighed. "Of course it is." The fluorescent hum of the shopping mall was an odd soundtrack for the kind of destiny Theo was trying to wrap his head around. He found himself standing near the fountain, the one with the plastic dolphins spraying water that never quite reached the pool, wondering if ancient cosmic artifacts really belonged in a place where toddlers ran wild, and the smell of pretzels stands mingled with bargain bin perfume. "Yay me," Theo said weakly. "So what happens at the third vault? Is it inside a volcano? Or the sun? Or a black hole guarded by space dragons?" "It's in a shopping mall in Nebraska." He blinked. "Wait, really?" "Yes." There was a pause. Theo sighed. "Of course it is." The fluorescent hum of the shopping mall was an odd soundtrack for the kind of destiny Theo was trying to wrap his head around. He found himself standing near the fountain, the one with the plastic dolphins spraying water that never quite reached the pool, wondering if ancient cosmic artifacts really belonged in a place where toddlers ran wild, and the smell of pretzel stands mingled with bargain bin perfume. Arya was scanning the crowded floor, her eyes sharper than any security camera, though slightly less judgmental about the fluorescent lighting. The vault is beneath the central atrium. The ancient builders concealed the entrance beneath layers of commercial obfuscation. Theo blinked. "You mean it's under a food court? And we have to get past security guards, grannies with aggressive shopping carts, and that guy who insists on breakdancing every Saturday?" Arya's long ears twitched in amusement. "Your sense of humor is unique. However, we must blend in." Theo glanced down at his faded t-shirt that said, "I survived a cosmic virus," and all I got was this lousy t-shirt and felt less than confident about blending in. "You're thinking we get matching uniforms and an Employee of the Month badge?" "Possibly." Arya's expression was dead serious, but Theo caught a flicker of something like mischief. They split up. Theo headed for the food court with the grace of a man who had recently discovered that his new life involved cosmic keys and covert vaults. He stopped at a hot dog stand, pretending to study the menu, while Arya slipped into the shadows. A group of teenagers passed by, jabbing their phones at Theo like he was some kind of live meme. One whispered something about the weirdo with the sandwich. Theo sighed. Great, not blending in at all. Suddenly, Arya appeared beside him, holding a small device shaped like a credit card. "Security here is standard, but there's an energy barrier sealing the vault beneath the marble floor. We need to deactivate it." Theo nodded, reaching for a pretzel. "Energy barrier? Like a force field? Couldn't they have put this in a better place? Like a deserted asteroid?" The ancient builders valued foot traffic. Theo chewed thoughtfully. "So, retail over resilience." Classic Arya tapped her device against a floor panel. The air shimmered and a low hum filled the space. A section of marble slid aside, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. Theo peered down. "Well, at least it's not a black hole." Arya smiled faintly. "That comes next." They descended. The staircase led into a vast chamber glowing faintly with bioluminescent moss clinging to the walls. The air smelled of ozone and something faintly metallic, like the scent of space itself. At the center stood a console embedded with crystalline elements, pulsing rhythmically. Arya gestured. Place your palm here. Theo hesitated. You know, I'm starting to feel like a cosmic ATM. He laid his hand on the console. Instantly, waves of light cascaded through the room. Visions flashed before his eyes. Ancient starships collapsing into wormholes, beings woven from light and shadow, and a star map that seemed to rearrange itself based on his heartbeat. Then came a voice, not from outside but inside, soft, melodic, and unmistakably female. You carry the hope of many worlds. Theo's eyes shot open. Is that? Arya nodded. The Vault's AI. It recognizes your pattern. Any chance it comes with a user manual? Not yet, the AI continued. The hollowing consumes all that is known, but your resonance unbinds its hold. Your unity is essential. Theo swallowed. So I'm some kind of space pacifier. More like an antidote, Arya said. Suddenly the chamber shook. A dark ripple spread across the walls, an echo of the hollowing trying to breach the vault's defenses. Theo looked at Arya. They're really persistent. More than you know. She activated a weapon from her armor. Prepare yourself. The walls erupted with shadowy forms, wraith-like creatures that flickered and shifted, attempting to dissolve into the very air. Theo raised his hands defensively. Do I get a laser gun too? Or just the cosmic stress? Arya fired, beams of pure energy cutting through the shadows. Theo dodged as best as he could, tripping over the uneven floor. Graceful, she teased, firing again. I'm saving my energy for the heroic last stand, he joked, scrambling up. Together they fought through the assault. Each strike Theo made seemed to reinforce the vault's defenses, his resonance pushing back the collapse inch by inch. When the last shadow dissolved, the chamber calmed. Theo exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. I think I just earned some kind of cosmic participation trophy. Theo groaned. That's what worries me. She stepped closer. There is one more vault, the final key. Let me guess, Theo said. It's somewhere nice, like a volcano, or a spa, or a concert hall for psychic octopuses. Arya's eyes gleamed. It is on the edge of a dying star. Theo blinked. Oh, right. That's not terrifying at all. She offered him her hand. Come, the galaxy waits. Theo took it, his heart pounding with a strange mixture of dread and wonder. Somewhere between the absurdity of it all and the weight of the cosmos, he realized that maybe, just maybe, he was ready to face whatever came next. The star was dying, not in the poetic sense of a twinkling farewell, but in the brutal, relentless collapse of a cosmic heavyweight stripped of its fusion fire. Theo and Arya hovered on the edge of the star's corona in a ship that looked suspiciously like a giant metallic beetle, but with a better air conditioning system. So, Theo began, voice tight with a mixture of awe and mild panic, we're supposed to stop a galaxy-wide collapse by messing with a star that's basically throwing the biggest tantrum in space? Arya, calm as ever, tapped her gauntlet. You carry the genetic key, the anchor of resonance. Your sequence synchronizes the core's unstable fusion fields. Theo rubbed the back of his neck. Sounds fancy. So what exactly do I have to do? Sing it a lullaby? Dance the cosmic hokey-pokey? Arya's long ears twitched in what might have been a smile. More or less. The ship's controls pulsed as the star's violent flares reached out like fingers trying to scratch away at reality itself. Theo glanced at the console displaying fluctuating energy readings, graphs rising and falling like a symphony gone rogue. You know, I always imagined saving the galaxy would be more dramatic. Explosions, epic music, maybe a slow-motion hair flip. Arya narrowed her eyes. If you want epic music, you should try telepathic harmonics, though the hair flip is optional. Theo blinked. Right, because nothing says hero like telepathic hair flipping. They approached the star's core, where space seemed to ripple and pulse like liquid glass. Arya guided him to place his hand on a crystalline interface glowing with an eerie blue light. Focus on the resonance, she instructed. You must harmonize your genetic sequence with the star's energy patterns. Theo inhaled deeply, trying not to think about how the fate of countless galaxies depended on his ability to not mess this up. As he concentrated, the interface responded, light streaming up his arm, weaving through his veins. Suddenly, visions flooded his mind. Lives he never lived, stars he never saw, music not of this universe, but somehow familiar. He felt the chaotic energy of the dying star merge with his own heartbeat, sinking in a way that defied logic. Arya watched, expression serene, but tense. "You're doing well. Keep it steady." Theo wavered, a surge of pain stabbing through his head, like a migraine fueled by a supernova. "I don't know if I can—" "Don't think," Arya said sharply. "Feel." So he felt the heat of the star's collapse, the sorrow of a universe unraveling, the absurdity of it all bundled with a punchline waiting to be told. He imagined the star as a grumpy old man refusing to let go, a cosmic cat reluctantly giving up the sunbeam. With a slow grin, Theo whispered, "Okay, star. Let's try the hokey pokey. You put your left flare in, you put your left flare out." Arya couldn't help but chuckle. "I take back my earlier skepticism. This may be your best idea yet." Light flared brightly as the star responded to Theo's bizarre but heartfelt resonance. The chaotic energy softened, stabilizing into a gentle, steady pulse. The star breathing again, calm and bright. The ship steadied, orbit returning to harmony. Theo sagged in his seat, exhausted but victorious. "So, does this mean I'm a cosmic hero now? Do I get a cape?" Arya smiled, a rare softness in her gaze. "You already had a cape, the one you wore in your dreams." He laughed. "That's the best cape ever." Back on Earth, life resumed with a curious blend of normality and newfound purpose. Theo's apartment, once just a place to crash after work, was now a nexus of interstellar importance, albeit one cluttered with takeout boxes and Ara's inscrutable alien tech strewn about. Neighbors noticed little changes. The man who once argued about Wi-Fi speeds now spoke cryptically about resonance alignment and temporal harmonics, usually followed by a sheepish grin and a self-deprecating joke. Arya integrated herself into the rhythms of Earth life with surprising ease. She tried pizza, marveling at the concept of extra cheese, and learned that human sarcasm was a language as nuanced as any alien dialect. Theo found himself growing, not just in confidence but in perspective. The galaxy was vast, terrifying, and full of improbable chances. Yet, amidst the chaos, connection remained, the unexpected moments where humor, courage, and hope intertwined. One evening, as they sat on the couch watching a sitcom about aliens disguised as humans, Theo nudged Arya. "You know, when you first showed up on my couch, I thought my life was over." Arya's long ears twitched, a smile playing on her lips. "And now? Now it's the best kind of chaos, the kind where you're never quite sure what's next, but you know you're not alone." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Together, then." "Together," he agreed, and for the first time, the weight of destiny felt like a promise, not a burden. The galaxy would go on, mysterious and endless. But for now, a human and an alien woman shared a quiet moment, a story concluded, a future unwritten, and hope alive in the stars.